Hi everyone, welcome to the Bioinformatics Coach channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 commands that you must know in Linux for bioinformatics. I repeat, I'm going to give you 5 commands that as a beginner you must know when you are going to use Linux for bioinformatics. So just take note of that. Now, in bioinformatics, the raw data, especially when processing, can be computationally expensive. Linux is an operating system that's able to handle these computationally expensive tasks. So that is why most of the time when you are going to analyze, you look at the tools, they will tell you have to run it on Linux, all right? Or they also say that these tools can also work in macOS systems, all right? So Linux and macOS both are Unix-like operating systems, all right? So if you see any tutorial and then instead of hearing Linux and then macOS and you hear Unix, then the syntax is almost the same. So Linux and macOS, they were all designed based on the Unix operating system. All right. So I mean, for now, Linux and macOS are popular. So wherever you go, you most likely hear Linux and then macOS. But if you also hear Unix, then there is still some similarity, and you can work with that as well. Okay. So let's proceed. So let's do this. I'm going to give you 5 commands, and so we are going to start. So make sure you have your Linux system or you have your macOS system. The commands will work on either of them. Now, if you don't have a Linux operating system, don't worry, you can still use some online platforms. So I've covered some tutorials which show how to use your browser to execute some Linux commands. So I have some platforms that I shared, and so just check the description where you'll find links to those videos that show you how to use your browser to perform some basic Linux tasks or to run your Linux command. So as a beginner, that is going to be very, very helpful to you. So let's get started. All right. So I already have my terminal open, and I suggest you also do same. So the first command that you must know as a beginner, not necessarily a beginner, but you should know, okay, if you are going to use Linux for bioinformatics, is pwd. And so it's what? pwd, like this. So there's it. Okay, so pwd, if you're on a terminal, just type it and then hit the enter button. Now, if you type pwd, what you'll get is a path. So this path is your current working directory. That's what it means. Now, take Linux or macOS, or let's just say Unix, okay, for that matter. Take Linux as a house, your system, okay, your Linux, take it as a house. This house has different rooms, several rooms, all right? Now, if you move to any of these rooms, you should know that you are in room A or room B or room C, all right? In the Linux operating system or macOS or Unix for that matter, you'll be moving from one directory to the other or one folder to the other. I'll talk more on directories later. And so if you want to know where you are, in this case, if you are in that room, okay, which is one of the rooms in that big house, then if you want to know the room that you are in, let's say you want to know that you are in room A, room B, or room C, in Linux, we say pwd. I'm just using that so that you can connect the dots here. And so pwd will help you to know where you are in the system. If you're in an operating system, you are moving from one directory to the other, okay, folder to folder. And so if you want to know where you are, the folder you are in, then pwd is your best friend. That's the command that you use. So no matter where you are, and as a matter of fact, if you're on a Linux system, then you'll be using pwd a lot. It will help you to know where you are, and then if there's a need to move to a different place, you move. If there's a need to add that information to your script or commands, then you do that. So pwd will always tell you where you are. So at the moment, the path where I am is /home/bioinfocoach. This is the directory that I'm in. All right, so I have /home. So normally what you see, the last directory after the slash, that is where you are. So sometimes you can see /home/user/this, etc. So normally where you are is the last name. So you have /this/this/this. You can have many slashes. So the name, the last name after that last slash, that is your current working directory. That's pwd will help you find that out. All right, so this is the first command that you should know, pwd. Now take note of it. Let's move on to the second command, command number 2. Command number 2 is mkdir. I say mkdir. mkdir. So mkdir is used to create directories. Now, if you have used Windows for a long time, then note that in Windows, it's folder or folders. In Linux, in macOS, we will say directory. So directory in Linux is the same as a folder in Windows. All right. So mkdir is used to create directories. It's used to create folders if I'm interpreting it in the Windows language. All right. So mkdir will help you do that. So mkdir is this mkdir like this. Okay, so mkdir will help you to create your directories. So let's go back to the big house I made mention of. So the big house, let's say you have that house. If you want to add a room to it, in this case it's Linux. So the room here refers to the directory. All right. So if I want to add a directory or a folder, it's mkdir. And then what do? I specify the name of the directory. So if let's say I want to create a directory, let's say bioinformatics, then it's bioinformatics like this. Then I'll create it. Note that Linux is case sensitive. So bioinformatics is different from, let's say, maybe bioinformatics. So if I issue this command to, then it's going to be executed. We are going to do the directory created. Now, if you create a directory and then nothing shows up, that means everything is successful. But don't worry, we are going to check them. We are going to verify them very soon. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, so lowercase b is different from uppercase b. In Windows, maybe if you try to create, no matter the cases, probably it might show some error or stuff like that. It's been a long time I used Windows, so maybe that one I may not know. But the last time I checked, when you have this and this, Windows will still tell you that same directory exists. Probably it has changed. I'm not sure. You can try and find out. But in Linux, this is different from this. And that is why both directories have been created. Okay, so that's how we do it. So try with your name and then see how it goes. So if nothing happens, that means it has been created. We are going to check those directories out later. Now with the mkdir, okay, we use to create a directory. You can create a directory in another directory. So in this case, a room in a room. Maybe you have the room, and in that room, you do your partition, do some small stuff. There's a small corridor, whatever. So just take it along that line. So if let's say I want to create a directory in, let's say, bioinformatics, this one. Okay, then I can say make the bioinformatics slash, and like I can say, let's say, Pascal, maybe there's another directory. So I can just do it like this. This will create another directory for me. Okay, so make the bioinformatics slash Pascal. That means that there is a directory called bioinformatics, and in that directory, I've created this directory called fastq. So this is the second command that you must know if you're a beginner in Linux for bioinformatics. Let's look at command 3. Command 3 is ls. ls is a command. Okay, so now ls is used to list the contents of a directory. Okay, now for the ls command, I'm going to give a detailed tutorial on that. I'll create a separate tutorial where I'll go into the ls command in detail, but today it's just an intro, so I'm going to keep it very simple here. So ls is used to list the contents of a directory. Okay, now this is my current directory, my current working directory. All right, I can do ls here, and if I do ls, whatever is there will be displayed for me. Okay, so ls will help you to display the contents. Now in Linux, we have files that can also be hidden. All right, and so that one too is possible to specify that. I'll work on that in another tutorial. As I made mention, I'll make a detailed tutorial on the ls command, so I'll show you all those ones. But for now, if you do the ls like this, then it's just the directories which are not hidden that will be shown, like this one here. Now, if you also want to list the contents in bioinformatics directory, you can still do it. All right, so you can, for beginners, what some do that they will use a cd command to cd into it and then do an ls, but you don't need to do that. Wherever you are, you can specify the paths. So if I want to list the contents in this directory, then I say ls bioinformatics. Now, remember I did this ls bio, and then I started, and then I just typed the tab. Okay, so if that name is unique in your current directory, then if you hit the tab key on your keyboard, then there's going to be this autocomplete. I repeat, there's going to be this autocomplete where Linux, or let's say Bash, will automatically fill the details for you. So in this case, bioinformatics. So if you have it, let's go over again. If I do ls bioinformatics, I hit the tab, and I'll get this. So ls bioinformatics, when you hit your enter, you are going to see your fast queue. Remember, we created here, we had mkdir bioinformatics, and then we had mkdir bioinformatics / fast queue. Okay, so that's how we do it. Now, if I ls into this one, bioinformatics, the one with uppercase B, let's see. If I list the content, nothing is displayed because we have not specified, or let me just repeat it. Let me just rephrase. We have not created any file in that directory or any directory in that directory. So for that matter, ls will return nothing for you. That means that it's an empty directory. All right, so this is how we do it. So now we have what? pwd, we have mkdir, we have ls. Okay, let's look at command number 4. Command number 4 is cd. cd will help you a lot. Okay, now let me just say, if you don't know your way, if you don't know where you are, of course pwd. If you know your way and you want to change, cd. You have several rooms, you want to move from one room to the other, you are moving from one direction to the other, it's cd, and then you specify where you want to move to. I'll show you a few tricks here. Now let's do this. Let's say, all right, we are in a current directory, which is bioinfo-coach. If let's say I want to move to bioinformatics, I just say cd, and I say bioinformatics. Then I'll move in there. So now I have moved in there. All right. So now this activity allows us to practice the first pwd. So if I do pwd now, I'll see what? /home /bioinfo-coach /bioinformatics. I made mention that the last name is where you are, your current working directory. So I have cd into it, and now I have this. I can create a directory. Let's say make that. We don't even need to create it. If you do an ls, receive fastq, you can cd into it as well, and then that is done. So it's very, very nice and cool. So this is the cd command. Now let's still talk about cd because there are things you should also know. Now I have cd into it. If let's say I want to get back, okay, I want to move to the previous directory. Note that we were currently here, bioinfo-coach, and then we did a cd into bioinformatics, which is here. So now that's where we are now. And then in bioinformatics, we had this folder, we moved into it. So we have done what? 2 cd, we've moved 2. From bioinfo-coach, we moved to bioinformatics, and now fastq. So in this situation, the previous directory, or let me just say the parent directory, I think parent directory will be better. Okay, that's more appropriate. So in this case, yeah, you should also know that the directory, okay, the file system in Linux is hierarchical. I will just put it that way. And so formally we're here. So if we are here, that's bioinfo-coach, and then we seed it into bioinformatics. Then in that situation, the parent directory is bioinfo-coach because we moved from here to here. Okay, let me just even rephrase it, because in this directory, we have this there. So just look at this way. Just let's put it this way. Let's say you have your big house. There's a room. So this room is a subset of the big house. Okay, it's in that house. And so it's a subset. So that means that we have your bigger house, and then bioinformatics is in that house. So bioinfo-coach becomes the parent directory. Okay, now in this directory, bioinformatics, there is another directory called fastq. And so in this case, the parent directory with respect to fastq is bioinformatics. Okay, don't get confused. Just take your time. You can even do a diagram to look at it. Okay, so bioinformatics becomes the parent directory of FASTQ because FASTQ is in bioinformatics. So the parent of what? FASTQ is bioinformatics. The parent of bioinformatics is bioinfocoach. All right, because bioinfocoach contains this and this contains it. So you can even say a subset. Maybe that will also be an appropriate term because we are dealing with sub here. Okay, so the parents of FASTQ is this because this contains this, and then the parent of this is this. And so getting back to our cd command, okay, if I talk about where I am now, let's say pwd, good, I think this will also be very good. So here, yeah, this explains whatever I've said. The path here will let you know the parent directory. All right, now this one, there's a slash here, so that means that bioinformatics is in, sorry, FASTQ, let me just do that way. So FASTQ is in bioinformatics, and so that means this is the parent directory for this. Now bioinformatics is in bioinfocoach, and that's why I have the slash here. So that means that bioinfocoach is the parent directory of bioinformatics. Okay, so now if you're in a directory and you want to move to the parent directory, okay, parent directory means you are moving back. Now you are here, you want to move to this side. It's very simple. You can just say cd space and you say dot dot. So cd space dot dot will send you back to bioinformatics. So let's do it. Some will just do dot dot, some will also add slash. So any of them works fine. All right, you can just use slash, that's fine. So you have moved. So now if I do pwd, I'm going to see that I have moved. Formerly, pwd was giving us this, but because of this cd dot dot, which means the parent directory, we have moved back. We have moved to bioinformatics. All right. In the same way, if I say cd dot dot again, that means I'm moving back. Then if I do pwd, I'll see that I'm now in slash home slash bioinformatics. Okay, so this is how we do it. Okay, so that's how we do it. Now there's something else we need to do. Okay, now this cd, let's cd. Now I'm still here. I want us to, let's cd back to bioinformatics. And let's just get back here. Let's say FASTQ. Okay, now the cd, if you just type cd alone, just cd alone will send you to your home directory. Okay, just cd. So if you're on a Linux system and you are lost, don't worry, just do a cd, it will send you to your home directory. Now the home directory is the directory that you are sent to when you open your terminal by default. Okay, it's just like, let's say you are in a house. In some houses, when you enter the house, the first place you go is the hall. Let's say the living room. Let me just put it that way. So you go to the living room. So in this case, we can say the living room is our home directory. Okay, so if you do a cd, you are sent to your home directory. So let's type cd. All right, now we are here. Okay, now cd here sends your home directory. Okay, now I'll give another command, which is bonus, by the way. In Linux, we will come back to the cd. In Linux, if you have all these commands you've entered, you are somewhere here, and you want to clear these ones and get a fresh terminal or a fresh line, or you want to clear it, you can just use clear. I use it a lot, so just clear and then everything will be done. Okay, now let's get back to our home directory. Now I did just a cd. So when you do just cd, it sends your home directory. That's what it means. So now how do we know our home directory? Now in Linux, if you want to know the home directory, it's what? $home. That's how it is. Okay, but I'm going to show you how to do that here. Okay, so this leads me to the fifth command, the last command, which is echo, and I'll use that to expand or explain further the cd to the home directory. So echo, that is echo. This is used to display text on the screen. All right. So if you have your bash script, sometimes you have set some variables, you have set some values, and you want to display. Maybe you have your script, the script will do some processing, you want to see the output on the screen. We use the word echo. There are other ways to display text on the screen, but echo is very popular. And so if let's say I want to display the text or the word bioinformatics, or let's say Linux, yeah, we are dealing with Linux or Unix, I can say echo, and then I bring my double quote because it's a strange, like this. So if I hit the enter button, then I'll see it display for me Linux. Let's try this echo Linux. Let's try this also. This is also done. But then I will always advise that if it's just a text, just put them in double quotes. That's what I'll advise. Because in some programming languages, we just do it like this. It's assumed it's a variable, so there should be a value assigned to it, which may not be so. So always try to put them in quotes. That's fine. Okay. So linking this to the home directory that I made mention of after we had done our CD. If you want to know your home directory, the path, it's echo $home. Echo $home will give you your home directory. So my home directory is bioinfo. That means that when I log in to the Linux system, then automatically I am sent to my home directory, which is bioinfo. Now we can try this. You can try this. You can open another terminal and then just do a pwd. Yeah, do a pwd like this, and then you should see your HOTS home directory display for you. In some Linux distros, if let's say you were in a different directory and you open a new terminal with this tab here, then it sends you to that directory. But just try with a fresh terminal. So if you try with a fresh terminal, then that one will give you that particular one that I'm talking about, as in sending you straight to the home directory. I think I'll even do that here. So I'll open a new terminal for us to see. Okay, so I'm going to open my new terminal now for us to see what I mean by it. Okay, yeah. So this is a new terminal. So if I say pwd, that's my home directory. I made mention is echo $home like this. Now the echo, I also made mention that it's advisable to put it in double quotes. And so you can say echo, bring your double quotes, and you can say $home. Put it in double quotes, and this will give you your home directory. So whenever you do a CD, it is this the home directory that you are sent to. I repeat, whenever you do just CD, it is this home directory. In this case, this is mine. Yours will be different. So in this case, what you see, that's your home directory when you do pwd. All right, so I repeat, when you do CD, just CD, and then you do pwd, what you see is going to be your home directory. All right, so this is the end of this tutorial. This is the first episode. So now as a beginner, you know the 5 commands that you should know when using Linux for bioinformatics. And I might say that if you're going to analyze data, if you're going to use Linux a lot, these commands I've made mention of, you are always going to see them. All right. It's very, very important that you always, take notes of them and then use them, because you are definitely going to use them. All right. If you're in Linux and you are missing, you don't know where you are, just do pwd. That will send you straight. That will show you where you are on the system. pwd will help you. If you want to create directories, mkdir will help you. If you want to list the content, as a matter of fact, if you're analyzing data, ls, you'll be using a lot. Sometimes you create a file, you can do ls to check the file. Sometimes you write your bash script, you execute it, files will be generated, you have to ls and look at it, or ls into the directory which has the files, and then just examine them. So ls is something you cannot escape from. You always have to use it. CD is also going to help you if you are lost, if you are confused on Linux. You can always find your way back home by using just CD. That will help you a lot. Or if you know where you are, you want to CD to the parent directory, that's fine. If you also have a specific directory you want to CD in, you can always do that as well. We will do more of these things later on. CD is also something I'm going to cover in detail in another tutorial. And the last one is echo, where if you want to display text or variables, just use echo, and that will also be done for you. So this is for this tutorial. Now, for those who want to support, you can just use some links in the description. You can also support me by joining my Patreon channel, which I also upload exclusive content as well. So that'll be all for this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next session of this tutorial where I give additional 5 commands that you might use. So I repeat, these commands, I'll be giving them in batches of 5 for the most part, because I want beginners to understand whatever is going on here. So I'll see you in the next session.